A long time ago, a pixie was hatched. This pixie was born into a world of conflict. Pixies and fairies have been warring for decades, creating a society war-torn, resentful, and desperate. Even despite this, the elite of society, the demons, thrived on seeing the lower classes in conflict and made no attempt to intervene. But as this pixie grew up, scavenging for scraps and living under the iron rule of the Demon King, she began to grow her wings, as young pixies often do. Well, as they often do in peaceful times. For a pixie's wings are forged of pixie dust, but that isn't all. A young pixie also needs one other thing, one other ingredient to ensure her wings grow strong, iridescent, and healthy. Hope. The pixie couldn't explain why it was this way. Why was it that while every other young pixie remained hopeless and wingless, her wings and her hope flourished? Her hope that things would change. It turned out that young pixie had been right to hope. After a time, things did change. The pixie became the queen, and she was determined that she was going to change things. End the fighting between pixies and fairies. Stamp out the poverty that left so many fae grasping at life. Give every hopeless pixie a pair of beautiful, opalescent wings. She met with the pixies. She met with the fairies. She met with the high society demons with lofty and pretentious titles. But nothing worked. The demons were furious to have a peasant class on the throne. The fairies refused to deal with the pixie. The pixies declared her a traitor for placating their enemies. Despair began to consume the pixie. How was she supposed to help? She wanted to reform the system, not contribute to it. Why had this war even started in the first place? Why did no one understand what they had to do to just stop? Why did she get the feeling that she was contributing to the oppression by just being in charge? Why? Why did it have to be her? Why couldn't she be better? Why couldn't she be good enough? She just wanted to stop. She wanted everything to stop. Horrified by her cursed transformation, the creature fled. The responsibility and the pressure had broken her to a shell of her former self.
Please, make it all stop. I just want to make people happy. Is that wrong to want?
The creature was alone for a long time. For a very long time. When she awoke again, the world was different. The kingdom she had known had been torn to ashes, shredded beyond imagination. Both sides had wiped each other out, and if there were any survivors, they certainly weren't here. Even the demons had fled.
Is this my fault?
The creature wondered. It seemed that there was no point in hoping for anything ever again. The creature sat on the ground and sobbed bitter, crystalline tears. But then, almost unnoticeably softly, she heard a crack. The creature opened her eyes. The broken shard of something bright blue, like a gemstone, was protruding from the ground. And as the creature watched, it changed shape, until it formed the face of a tiny living thing.
"Don't give up,"
said the thing.
"You must never lose hope."
The pixie watched in amazement as more blue sapphire shards broke the ground's surface, almost as though being hatched. Before her eyes, they each glowed and changed into small life forms. "There is still hope inside you," they whispered. "We can see it."
But how can that be?
The pixie replied.
My wings, are they still...
"You have to believe in yourself," they could only reply. And so the pixie chose to believe. She worked tirelessly, day after day, to rebuild the kingdom she had wanted to save so badly. And she did it on her own. Or, no, that isn't quite right. She had the blue shard creatures with her, whispering support into her ear night and day. Some became her loyal guards, protecting her from harm. Some laughed with her, joked with her. Some comforted her in her moments of darkness, and some became true friends who she could trust with everything. These creatures never gave the pixie their name, but she began referring to them affectionately as her pixie pals. And one day, the time came that the pixie looked out across the land and realised that she had rebuilt a kingdom. And not just that, she had built a family. And then she suddenly realised that she could fly.